This is such a great experience. We're learning about Mazda racing, right? Racing with Mazda cars, and we're learning about Adobe. I'm Harsh Walia. I'm a technology strategist at Digitas. Today, I'm excited to talk about Adobe Experience Manager as a hybrid CMS to deliver your context-optimized omni-channel experiences. I think I'm missing a clicker. Let's see. How do I click to the next slide? Magic won't work. But I think the next Adobe product is where the Sensei just connects with you and it goes to the next slide. It's a good idea, right? Thank you. All right. Let's make this happen, right? So a high-quality customer experience is rapidly becoming a key differentiator for brands seeking to gain a competitive advantage. An amazing experience like this will teach you a lot. It'll make you want to come back. And the same holds true with customer experience. High-quality customer experience is a brand differentiator. Forrester recently published a study where they said, on average, customers who have a high-quality experience are 2.7 times more likely to keep doing business with a brand than customers who have a low-quality experience. A high-quality experience is not a website that looks great or that looks beautiful, regardless of the screen size, right? A high-quality experience is an experience that adapts to the needs of the user, the situation, the location, and the context of use. A high-quality experience is very contextual. For example, at a point of sale, you're performing a transaction. If that entire transaction is very simple, and you're able to perform the transaction without any friction in that process, that's a high-quality experience. At a magic mirror, where your brand wants to encourage the customers to try a product before they buy, right? If you can make that experience a high-quality experience, the chances of that customer engaging with your brand and deepening that relationship with you just goes way too high, right? Electronic shelf labels, virtual shopping windows, kiosks, connected devices, mobile apps, web and mobile sites. I mean, call centers, chatbots, more, and more, right? So these are all various channels where if you can have and if you can provide a very contextual experience where you're displaying the most relevant message, the best content at the right time to the right person, you have just delivered a high-quality experience. Now, a high-quality experience is very contextual, where the best content is the fuel that propels every brand and customer interaction. So content is king. And we're going to go through this. Content is king across all of these channels. Content could be displayed in many different ways. As long as there's consistency in messaging, you have just provided a high-quality experience. So how do you provide or build that high-quality experience? To deliver these experiences at speed and at scale, you need marketers to be able to have easy access to content. And you also need them to have an ability to author, to manage, to deliver this content to the right context at the right time. So 2 essential steps. Very simple, right? Enable the marketing teams to source the best content at speed and at scale. So easy access to content. When we say content, it comes in 2 different forms. There's plain text content. So your offers, your messages, your frequently asked questions, HTML content. You also have digital assets in a binary form like your video, your audio, your PDF documents. So letting marketers have easy access to content is essential. And then once marketers have easy access to content, being giving them the means to author and manage an experience where they can bring this content in, use a templatized mechanism, and publish their content out to their core channels is critical. So what is core channels, right? So core channels is an established channel with an established workflow, a mature workflow that allows a marketer to self-service themselves. This allows the marketer to be able to extract a content and publish that into an experience. Or you can have your IT teams rapidly build and deploy custom experiences to custom and emerging channels. And these are new channels that don't exist but need to be built out. So these are two essential steps to making and to providing the right content to that user at the right time. Now, with these essential steps, we can enable our teams to deliver the best content that fits their user's context. So let's visualize this, right? Easy access to content, access to templates or experiences, and you're able to push content to the core channels, or you can push content and experiences to custom and emerging channels. Or you can connect directly into the content, build that pipe so you can push content to content-hungry channels, like Alexa, Google Home, smartwatch, right? So Adobe Experience Manager is architected to solve this paradigm. Adobe Experience Manager is architected to be a hybrid CMS. It allows marketing organizations to have the ability to create, manage fully context-optimized experiences, and also allows IT teams to have the ability to reuse that content and access it programmatically to create custom experiences. But before we dig deeper into Adobe Experience Manager and how it is a hybrid CMS, let's understand what a hybrid CMS is. So there are two types of CMSs, right? There's headless CMS, there's traditional CMS. The headless CMS, in this case, has a backend where you store, you manage content. The IT teams can sit on top of that, use the programmatic interfaces to be able to construct digital experiences for any channel. But you need IT teams to drive that experience, to manage that experience, to build that experience. Marketers are typically working, collaborating with them, but they're not directly influencing that or controlling that behavior of deploying the experiences. The IT teams can also build connections into content-hungry channels. A traditional CMS, like a WordPress, and most CMSs these days are evolving towards the headless side. So a few years ago, you had a lot more numbers of traditional CMSs. So now not many exist, but WordPress is very similar to that concept. So in a traditional CMS, you have a backend which stores and manages content. And you also have a front end for the marketer to be able to use their mouse, their keyboard, and a simple editor, be able to drag and drop content, build experiences, publish it to the channels. So marketers are able to work in a self-service manner. They're able to collaborate with the IT teams, but they can work independently. So two different types of CMSs. A hybrid CMS is best of both worlds. It allows the marketers to work in a self-service manner to be able to build content, experiences, publish them out. It allows IT teams to work independently to be able to create custom experiences through programmatic mechanisms. A very simplified view, right? A hybrid CMS is design-focused, meant for the marketing teams, and it's also API-driven, meant for the IT teams. Best of both worlds, which is Adobe Experience Manager. It allows you to source the best content. It allows you to manage content in an omni-channel manner. It also allows you to compose experiences that adapt and that become personalized. It also allows you access to headless content so you can quickly flow that to content-hungry channels. So there are many different ways of working with content in AEM. The standard, your plain text content, your digital asset, that you're sourcing from digital asset managements that you have on the record, of record, or you may have AEM assets that you're using. You may be sourcing it from your creative teams, or you may be extracting it from other user-generated applications that are connected to it. But you also have a content fragment. A content fragment within AEM is a construct which allows the content to be page independent. It allows it to have a metadata, and it allows teams to access it via a programmatic mechanism, or for marketers to be able to drag and drop that content into an experience. So content fragment is page independent, does not have a design layout, but it can have plain text and an embedded media right next to it, or it could just be a plain text. You also have experience fragment. Experience fragment is like a content fragment, but it has a design and a layout. So you're able to access this experience fragment through programmatic mechanisms as a JSON that the IT teams can use to build an experience, or the marketers can just simply drag and drop that and have fun with it. AEM provides the platform to enable both the marketers and IT teams to build, reuse, deploy the best content across experiences. Let's dig a little bit deeper, right? AEM provides a content service, which is really meant for the IT teams. So the IT teams can use this content service to be able to get access to the plain text content, digital assets, content fragments, experience fragments, and they're able to deploy that to all the channels that they're looking to build or manage. The marketing teams are given a very nice marketer-friendly interface. It's an editor with a view that they can use their mouse and their keyboard, and they can whiteboard whatever experience they're looking to build with their mouse, and they can publish that. So AEM allows or provides content services to the IT teams and a simple visual editor interface to the marketing teams to be able to work with content and experiences and push them into the channels that they're looking to build and deploy for their customers. So let's take a piece of content, right? We have Sweet Crawl at 7:30. Just mentioned there is also Smoosh right before that. So both of this content is actually on the Evolve site. And so as we start to get closer to the 7:30 p.m. time, let's assume that the marketers are looking to socialize this content across all channels that you guys are working with, mobile, social, maybe another experience, right? And so the marketer takes this content fragment which says the Sweet Crawl at 7:30 p.m., builds out 3 different variants of an experience. The marketer builds a mobile variant using their mouse and keyboard. The marketer builds a desktop variant with an image and a different CTA. And then marketer builds a social experience variant. In this case, they built the Facebook variant, which out of the box can be pushed into the Facebook. They can also build a Pinterest variant. They can also build a Twitter variant. These variants are out of the box, ready to go and pushed into the social environments. The IT teams can then build direct connections into content-hungry channels, while the marketer can work with their media teams to be able to push this content into Adobe Advertising Cloud, Or if they are building and deploying dynamically creative optimized images, a DCO, they can also take this content, push it into that spreadsheet that this media person is looking to work with the Ad Cloud creative of Advertising Cloud to be able to build dynamically generated images, right? So all of this can be powered by a centralized, simple source of content, which has content fragments that are easily accessible by IT teams, by media teams, by marketers to build experiences and deploy them across channels. Such a powerful, a very powerful concept. So content fragments, experience fragments, and content service, they work together in AEM to provide different levels of reuse of content for delivery across all channels. The integration between experience fragments in AEM and Adobe Target is very interesting. It's very interesting because it's very easy. There is a native integration between AEM and Adobe Target that you're probably all aware of, and it makes it very easy to push experience fragments into Adobe Target. There are really 3 steps. Configure your AEM to connect to Adobe Target, not that hard to do, and then just let it have access to the experience fragments that the area that you're working on. Once you have done that, build your experience fragments, and then let it go into Adobe Target. Log into Adobe Target, identify your experience fragments, and start to build out your activities. So this integration is very easy. Once you have the experience fragments available on Adobe Target, you have a choice of activities that you can build. You can do an A/B test and identify what experience is winning. And once you've identified the experience that is winning, you can then start to get a little bit more interesting with experience targeting, where you can start to build more variants of this experience that actually was winning, and then start to target your customers or your users with those experiences. So for example, in San Diego, I'll get Sweet Crawl at 7:30 with the image because I'm right here and I really have to, I'm being marketed for it. But when I was in Boston, I could just be getting text content with the details in it, so it tells me what to expect at Evolve at around that time, which is 7:30. So now that you have experience targeting, you're able to deploy several experiences depending on the rules and the criteria that the marketers set. Or you can do automated personalization. You can leverage machine learning using Sensei to be able to build variants of your experiences and then deploy it to match that customer profile. So machine can do all of this automated for you using the various logic that it applies, and it is able to run the experience fragments in the variants you want for that channel. You could also do multivariate testing, or you could do recommendations, where these experience fragments are exposed as offers to your customers, to your prospects, to your consumers. You can get more interesting, right? You can build your custom segments. You can identify your data sources that are your first-party sources or your second-party sources. You can identify traits from those sources. The signals can give you traits. Once you have the traits, build those segments that really works with your brand and that applies to your marketing strategy, to your learning agendas. So once you have these segments, push them into Adobe Target and then connect them to the activities that are deploying these experience fragments for those audience segments. So the interplay of Audience Manager, Adobe Target, and AEM allows you to customize experiences for that audience segments based on the type of learning agenda that you're working with. And if you deploy analytics properly across channels where your experiences are deployed, you're able to measure your channel's performance at real or near time, and you can connect that back into Adobe Target so that all of your activities are actually self-balancing themselves and working together to be able to provide context-optimized experiences to your customers. So when you connect these Adobe tools through its native integrations, when you use experience fragments, when you use content fragments, when you use the content the way it is meant to be, both marketers and IT teams can work independently or together, and they can deploy these context-optimized, high-value experiences to your customer. So to end this, with an ability to deliver, if a user is on a journey right now, they're able to see the exact same content that you want to publish across different experiences, across mobile device, your desktop, email, or a chatbot, for example. So with an ability to deliver channel-optimized experiences to users at speed and at scale, you can gain a competitive advantage as you strengthen your relationship with your customer. And the best way to do that is native connections with Adobe and the best use of your content.